Good morning, everyone. It is March 23rd, Wednesday. We are in the midst of a closed low-pressure system, a low-pressure system that has become cut off from the jet stream. And as a result, here in the Midwest, this low-pressure system is barely going to be moving, but it will be moving slightly eastward. Barometric pressure at the center of the system is 29.44 or so, if you want to be more exact. This low pressure system then moves off to the east. It slowly weakens, but eventually it's going to collide with two other low pressure systems as it moves into the New England area. And at that point, it will be strengthening. The system is going to be falling apart in general. And the sign that it's going to be doing so is the fact that the cold front associated with the system will be becoming an occluded front. An occluded front is when the cold air on the back side of the system moves quickly, as it always does, but it's when the cold air catches up with the warm air on the front side of the system and actually goes underneath the warm air. So there actually is very little warm air. Any warm air that there is only aloft. And at that point, the system tends to fall apart. That's what's going to be happening as this low pressure system moves across the southern parts of Lake Michigan. A good chance for rain, possibly even some thunder this afternoon in the Chicago area, but especially areas in Indiana and Ohio. The further east you go, the higher those chances of thunder are. So this storm system then moves off to the east. The colder air moves in, but not before the warmer air moves in here into the Chicago area. The clouds are going to put a damper on the warmth, however, to some extent, as clouds are expected to rule for the rest of the day, preventing the strong March sun from doing much. Temperatures nonetheless should make it into the upper 50s, maybe even warmer than that. Colder air comes in, and then we have a low pressure system that's going to dive down from Canada. According to the models that I saw, the low pressure system remains in Canada. Forecasts show that its precipitation will be making it all the way down here in the form of rain, but some indicators show that the precipitation might actually change over to snow for a period late Friday night or very early Shabbos morning, perhaps around 4 a.m. or so. If it does change over to snow, there could be a dusting, something like that, along with strong winds. Strong winds could reduce visibility, especially if it is snowing out. This system may have more of an impact for places in Minnesota. However, the system will be producing precipitation during the day in Minnesota, which would decrease the chances for frozen precipitation. Nonetheless, there could be some snow in Minnesota as well. Bitterly cold air is expected to filter in behind the system from many locations, especially up north. Some indicators are that the polar vortex will be weakening and moving into southeast Canada. Conditions are just expected to be bitter cold across Thunder Bay, Canada, northern Minnesota. Temperatures dropping below zero for many of those locations. Here in the Chicago area and many locations here in the Midwest, we're going to see very cold weather, unseasonably cold conditions for Sunday as high temperatures remain in the 30s. Overnight lows drop into the low 20s. Another minor system pops up on the weather map for late Sunday night into early Monday. But a more significant storm system affects the Midwest Tuesday and Wednesday. The track of the storm system is not clear at this time, but both models show an impactful storm system. The GFS takes the storm to the north of us at a barometric pressure of 29.2. The European computer model takes the low pressure system to the south of us at a barometric pressure of 29.3. Either way, this is a strong storm system. The precipitation will be falling as snow in the places north of the storm track. At some point, Chicago will be north of the storm track. So we could expect rain, but eventually that rain probably will change over to snow as colder air filters into the region. The most intense heat wave that has ever occurred, is over Antarctica. At least it was, as of a few days ago. This is an unprecedented event. This event is so strange, and it's equivalent to the Northwest Pacific heat wave that happened last June. It's almost like getting the exact same air mass, but it's over Antarctica. Now, temperatures in Antarctica are not going to be hitting 100. They're not even going to come close to that. But cities where the normal high is 60 below zero are reporting temperatures of 10 degrees. This is a heat dome that has set itself up over in Antarctica and has collided with an atmospheric river coming from the tropics into the Antarctica area. We also have a heat wave by the North Pole in the Arctic. That heat wave is not unprecedented, however. The one in the South Pole, scientists say that this situation, they always thought this was impossible to happen. They were not aware that this was possible to happen until it just happened. So, and it happened, and you could see pictures of scientists out in shorts with not even a shirt on, celebrating the extreme warmth. Some areas in Antarctica did reach 40 degrees, but the extreme warmth, where temperatures are 70 degrees above normal, is actually a 10-degree Fahrenheit situation, where it's 70 degrees above the normal high of 60 below zero. There's also plenty of melting taking place over there as well. 70 degrees above normal is something that it broke, put it like this, it was in Vostok, I think, in Antarctica. It's the Russian weather station. They reported an unprecedented high, an all-time high, which is occurring. Now realize over there, it's already the fall. It's not even the summertime. The days are no longer, I don't even know what the days are pretty short already. The days are not 24 hours long like they were, and the sun is weaker. But they just reported an all-time high temperature of 10 degrees, which is 27 degrees warmer than the previous all-time high. 27 degrees warmer. Can you imagine that? Here in Chicago, the all-time high here in Chicago is 105, unofficially 109. If we were to get 27 degrees above, we would be getting 132 degrees here in Chicago. This is something which is a very extreme event, which climate change does not provide an explanation for this. It's a phenomena that would have occurred. Most agree that this would have occurred regardless of climate change or not. It's just super extreme what's going on over there. A heat wave here in this country is producing record heat right by us in the desert southwest. This record heat, temperatures are in the mid and upper 90s, and they're forecast to be in the mid and upper 90s, upper 80s in the Los Angeles area for the next 3 days. Temperatures going into the upper 90s for Phoenix, Arizona, breaking records or coming very close to breaking records this weekend. This heat then moves off to the east, producing record warmth as it heads into Nebraska and many areas in Texas. Highs go into the mid and upper 90s for Rio Grande Village, Texas. Falcon Lake, Texas. Highs going into the mid 90s this weekend. The warmth then moves into Tennessee and Kentucky for Tuesday, and then reaches the East Coast, the southeast of the East Coast, southern parts of the mid-Atlantic area by Wednesday. The heat kind of falls apart as it moves east and moisture gets added to the warmth. It no longer will be record warmth by the time it gets into our area. We will be having a seesaw, typical March weather pattern. High temperatures today, upper 50s. Tomorrow going pretty cold into the 40s. Friday back into the 50s, Shabbos 40s. Sunday mid and upper 30s. And then next week, generally, we're looking for, the National Weather Service in Chicago says we're looking for a warming trend. But we really have to keep an eye on that storm system that's going to be moving across the Midwest, watching to see if the GFS model is right. If the GFS model is right, then we will see warmer temperatures here in Chicago. If the European computer model is right, we might initially see warmer temperatures, but that precipitation may change over to snow towards the end. AccuWeather forecasters are forecasting continuous Arctic air intrusions for the Northeast through the first week of April. These Arctic air masses will be affecting parts of the Midwest as well, as the splitting of the polar vortex is expected to take place and remain in southeast Canada, according to AccuWeather.com. Thank you for listening. I wish everybody a great day.